Hi everyone, it's Nicola from Data Mozart. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending from which part of the planet you are joining this live stream. This is the first time I'm doing a live stream on my channel, so I hope everything works fine. So first of all, I would like to ask you to confirm that you can hear me well. If someone can drop in the chat that the sound is proper, so I don't need to configure additionally my microphone or other things. Okay. Yeah. So as you know, we will today. Okay. Thank you, Sven, for confirming. Thank you. Thank you, Kirtana. Thank you, Anthony. Welcome, everyone. And as you know, today we are going to talk about the latest Microsoft exam and certificate, DP-600, implementing analytic solutions using Microsoft Fabric. Uh, In case you missed this information, this exam is officially live since yesterday. So you can go and take this exam as of this moment. But to be honest, this exam is currently in beta, which means if you now take this exam, you need to wait for results and for certificate in case you passed the exam for a certain period of time. I've intentionally said certain period of time because no one can tell you when the exam will go to general availability, so out of beta. But depending on the number of people that take exam, Microsoft then decides that exam is ready for GA, and then after the exam goes to GA, after a few days, you get your results. So that's what happened in the past with other exams, DP-500, PL-300, DA-100. Sorry, because PL-300 was just the successor. So in case you have a patience to wait for results, but you are impatient to take the exam, go and schedule your exam right now. Yeah, so I will be watching through the chat just to share questions and comments with everyone. Miriam asked, "Will this stream will be available afterwards on YouTube?" Yes, sure, for sure, it will stay on the YouTube channel, so you can go back and rewatch it again. Yeah, so if you have any questions during the stream, please feel free to drop them in the chat, but don't forget to prefix questions with capital letter Q, so I know that it is questions, so I can filter out through all the comments. So don't forget to prefix your questions in chat with Q. Other than that, because I already opened like a form for asking questions in advance, I received around 30 questions. Thank you all for that. There are some brilliant questions. There are some that I simply had to cut off because of insufficient time in this live session, and that because those questions were not directly related to the exam and certificate. They were more like technical questions, like how to solve certain problem or certain challenge in Power BI or Microsoft Fabric. So what I can promise is that if we don't have time to answer all of these questions today, I will schedule another live session, so all your questions will be covered. That's 100% sure. So feel free to drop questions in the chat window. Hey, Roman. Hi. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Okay, so slowly jumping into the action. And before we start, just a brief intro into the agenda or what we are going to cover today. So first, short introduction. What is this new exam about and why we are all so excited about it? Then we will go to our main part of the live webinar, which is related to your questions and my answers. And finally, as I promised in the announcement for this live session, there will be a raffle. So I asked all of you to enroll in Data Mozart learning platform at learn.data-mozart.com. So everyone who enrolled in this learning platform, it's completely free, so you don't need even a credit card. Everyone is in the raffle. I will randomly choose 10 people. that will get full access for free to my mastering DP600, sorry, mastering DP600 course. It's work in progress, so I expect to be ready in next few weeks. So those 10 people will get free access to this course. And also I will choose someone who asked the best question today, and also this person will also get a free access to this DP600 course. So I already see some questions popping up in the chat window, and I know that some of them will be covered in the slides, because I pull all the questions from Microsoft Forms, from all the people who sent their questions in advance. I pull them into this slide deck, and then we will go and walk through one by one. And then after that, I will also try to, let's say, somewhere halfway through the session, I'll pick up some questions from the live audience, and then we will come back and continue with questions that had been asked in advance. So once again, let's walk through what's covered and what is this DP600 is all about. So I assume you already heard that Microsoft announced last November at Ignite event. They announced that Microsoft Fabric as a product is now generally available, and this new exam was created to help people leverage their skills with this new product, with Microsoft Fabric, and to get certification as the confirmation of their skills. So this exam, let's walk through it and let's see what are the main responsibilities. So this is the official name: implementing analytic solutions using Microsoft Fabric. You will probably hear more often than not that we are talking about Fabric Analytics Engineer exam and certificate. So once you complete this exam, your official title, let's say, will be Microsoft Certified Fabric Analytics Engineer Associate. So first of all, if you never heard about analytics engineering, or you are not sure what is it all about, let me put a link in the chat of this stream. This is amazing video done by Simon Whiteley from Advancing Analytics, and in my opinion, this is the best dissection of analytics engineering. Is it real job title or not? It depends. You can think of it as a separate role, or renaming of some existing roles that were already there. But I encourage you to watch this video if you want to understand what is analytics engineering and what is expected from someone who works in a role of analytics engineer. So basically, this role should cover following components: lakehouses, warehouses, notebooks. I don't want to read through all of this. Let's put this link also in the chat so you have it for your reference afterwards. And of course, there is a study guide provided by Microsoft where you can go and see how each of these skills breaks down into smaller parts. So for example, you have like plan, implement, and manage a solution for data analytics, and then you see let's say subtopics that are included in this one huge topic. And you can see how important, or how many points each of these, not points, but number of questions in the exam each of these topics will take. As you may assume, preparing and serving data will take almost half of the questions. So that's, I would say, the most important part, the key part of this exam. And the one that we are going to examine during the questions: implementing and managing semantic models, very, very similar to existing DP-500. Okay, so I think it's time, because we have many questions and not so much time. It's a good idea, I think, to jump straight into the action and try to answer all these questions here. Okay, so Jayashri, I hope I pronounced this correctly. Sorry if I didn't. Is it similar to Azure Analytics? So I assume that Azure Analytics means Azure Synapse Analytics. If that's the case, I would say yes and no. So as you may know, parts of Azure Synapse Analytics were incorporated also in Microsoft Fabric, but some parts are not have not found their way in Microsoft Fabric, namely dedicated SQL pool. So the only correct answer to this question is yes and no. So those parts of Azure Synapse Analytics platform that are still relevant in Fabric will be relevant also in DP-600. Those parts that are not relevant anymore, like I mentioned, dedicated SQL pool, you will not find any questions related to dedicated SQL pool in Azure Synapse Analytics in DP-600. Question number 2, how can this, from Pragati, hi Pragati, thanks for the question, how can this certificate help with career advancement? And as you will see, there are a lot of similar questions that brings this point, how the certificate can help with career advancement. And maybe I will skip this one because I have more focused question that is relevant for certificates, and I will come back also to include the answer to this question while answering the next one. So this certificate obviously can help with career advancement, and we will examine how and in which scenarios. Alkesh asked, what are the typical responsibilities and duties? What skills and experience are required? What are the career paths for someone in this position? 3 questions in one, so let's try to break it down to one by one. So what are the typical responsibilities and duties? Go and watch Simon's video. He explains everything in detail. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go through each of these responsibilities and duties, but you can think in the end of analytics engineer as someone in between data engineer and data analyst, if that helps somehow. So typical responsibilities and duties, I would say in most simple words, data modeling, bringing data from data sources to analytical platform. In this case, we are talking about Fabric, of course, and creating semantic models for business reporting. That's it. So no data visualization, but certain parts of data exploration and knowledge about some descriptive and prescriptive analytics is expected from the person in this position. What skills and experience are required? I think I mentioned skills in my previous answer. Experience, yeah. So if you used to work with as a BI developer in the past, or ETL developer, like we used to call some of the roles in data realm, then you are well equipped for this exam. What are the career paths for someone in this position? That's a good question. So you can choose between many different paths. So if you're more like more a person who likes to code and build those pipelines to bring data from data source to your analytical system, then you will probably, but not necessarily, after some time, maybe move to like more data engineering role. If you're more like, okay, I now built my semantic models, let's now build some cool business reporting solutions from that, then you will probably find your way in the data analyst position. But you will be definitely well equipped to choose either of these 2 ways. Again, Alkesh, what are the key components of the platform? How does it compare to other data analytics platforms? What are the benefits of using it for big data and AI projects? Again, multiple questions, so let's go one by one. What are the key components of the platform? Unfortunately, I need to do another session that is related just to Fabric. I'm doing one on Tuesday at Power BI User Group Italy, which is 60 minutes dedicated to high-level overview of Microsoft Fabric platform. So in short, yeah, there are many components that are all put together, brought together in software as a service solution. So the key components are obviously OneLake as a central storage, than different processing engines like Spark or SQL or Power BI's engine or Custo. But yeah, as I said, we don't have time to go into details here. It's very complex platform, so consists of many different components. How does it compare to other data analytics platforms? If it's related to other Microsoft data analytic platforms, this one is the first, which is software as a service, which means that Microsoft takes care of everything in the background for you. So you don't need to provision anything and scale up and down your resources. Everything is done automatically in the background. If it's the question how it compares to other vendors data analytics platforms, yeah, then we should focus on we should have focused on comparing, yeah, one by one. So it's hard to say, but this is definitely the first Microsoft's software as a service solution for data analytics. What are the benefits of using it for big data and AI projects? I will focus on AI projects because Copilot, you definitely heard, it's a buzzword now, Copilot and the ChatGPT and all this stuff. This will be integrated in all Fabric experiences. It's not everywhere at this moment, but it will be integrated. So the obvious benefits is having Copilot for all your analytical workloads. Yeah, that's I would say the answer that for this question. Again, Alkesh, what does the exam cover? What are the prerequisites for taking it? How can you prepare for it? Is it worth getting certified? Again, multiple questions. So the exam, what does the exam cover? Go to this link that I share with you in the chat, and you will see all the topics that the exam covers. What are the prerequisites for taking it? Certainly, skills and experience in traditional business intelligence workloads help. And I would say if you are just a data visualization person, so you used to work with Power BI with this serving layer, data visualization layer, then maybe this is, I would say you need to spend more time and effort to learn topics that are included in DP-600. So in my opinion, prerequisite is good knowledge and experience with data modeling, with data transformation, and of course, understanding core principles that are related to these concepts like star schema and yeah, dimensional modeling in general. How can you prepare for it? There are multiple ways we are going to talk about this. There are many questions that are also related to this one. Is it worth getting certified? Short answer, yes. A long answer, you will need to wait because we have more questions which are more specific and are related to importance of certifications. Again, Alkesh, thanks, Alkesh, for all these questions. Yeah, I really appreciate your effort and time to put this. What are the emerging trends in data analytics and how will they impact this role? What new skills will be needed for future success? This is too broad. So what are the emerging trends in data analytics and how will they impact this role? Yeah, that's, I think, a little more broader than we are going to cover in this live stream. What new skills will be needed for future success? So it depends how platform develops. Depending how platform develops and if there are some new features, new concepts introduced over time, then I'm sure that these new features will also become part of this exam. But at this moment, that's how it is. What you see in this list of necessary skills, that's what is expected from you to know. Let's see what future brings. Philip asked, is this certification more related for data engineer or data analyst? This is a great question, and I think I already scratched the surface a little bit a few minutes ago when I said that analytics engineer is someone who is somewhere in between data engineer and data analyst. So, but yeah, don't take this segregation so hard. So lines are blurred. So data engineers will sometimes do certain tasks that are maybe more relevant for data analysts and vice versa. So analytics engineer is a person somewhere in between. And this certification covers some of the data engineering skills, but also some of data analyst skills. When I say data analysts, I mostly refer to data analysts in enterprise world. So there are no data visualization topics, and as you will see, so more enterprise data analytics, and as I said, data exploration, prescriptive analytics, descriptive analytics, and stuff like that. So writing SQL queries, using notebooks to explore the data, and so on and so on. Okay, Francis, this is a little bit longer one, but I'll walk through it. How to get on hands projects to consolidate what has been learned from the documentation. I have noticed that most documentation only touch on the basics, which is not always enough to face real-world data challenges. That's true. I find documentation shallow on data warehousing, data factory, and even PySpark for data preparation, especially for us coming from Power BI background. While Power Query is there, I know using notebooks makes working with large data and automation seamless. Having passing DP-500, I always feel not too confident about the supposed skill acquired, because real world will challenge beyond the scope of the documentation. So this is not a question, this is more like a constatation. And I agree with you, Francis, but that's reality. So you can't use documentation to prepare for exam, period. That's my experience. And whenever I'm being asked, can I learn can I prepare for the exam walking through just through documentation? No, you can't. I mean, documentation has different purpose than preparing you for exam. So I would say that's true, but that's how things work. But thanks, Francis, for sharing your opinion. Martin, how to estimate appropriate and most cost-effective capacity size for a Fabric solution based on requirements, given number of users, intensity of use, amount of data, required transformations, and semantic models, etc. How to estimate actual subscription cost for a specific Fabric solution. So for the first part, you can contact me. My hourly rate is not so high. So yeah, I'm just kidding, of course, but this is the very hard question to answer before you know more details about the plans, how to use Fabric. So it's not the same if you have, let's say, 20 users or you have 2,000 users. Then it's not the same if you need to import the data from data source 10 times a day or just once per day. Then it's not the same if you need premium features in Power BI or you not. So it depends on really many different things. So all of these should be taken into consideration. And we will have one more question, which is related to Fabric capacity planning. So I can share some, let's say, high-level general guidelines how to think in terms of recommending a proper capacity size for Fabric workloads. How to estimate actual subscription costs for a specific Fabric solution. So it depends if you choose pay-as-you-go versus reserved instance pricing model. If you choose reserved pricing instance model, then you pay fixed amount per month and you don't need to estimate. So basically, you will be charged fixed amount per month. Then it just depends on the amount of storage, but it's, I think, 26 cents for terabyte of storage. So this should not affect the final bill that Microsoft charges you. It should not affect too much. So if you want like predictable costs, go for reserved instance, and it's cheaper than pay as you go. But if you don't need necessarily 24/7 availability of Fabric features, then pay as you go is also fine. But then you need to think about the actual costs for for Azure subscription? Great questions, Martin. Thank you. Ivan asks, why should we get certified in the first place? Most places not ask for certificates, only know how. Thank you. And that's the point where I will try to get to answer to the certification in general. So why should we get certified in the first place? It's up to you. So if you ask me personally, did I have any benefits from my certifications? No. So I need to be honest, no. Do I know people who had benefits from their certifications? Yes, absolutely. I know a lot of them. So again, it's typically depends. So depends on the company where you're applying. Someone will treat those certifications not as a confirmation of your knowledge of this know-how, as Ivan mentioned, but more like your profile that you want to learn, that you put some effort to prepare for the exam, that you took this exam, successfully completed it. It's not that you know those things by heart, but in the end, it's more like personal skill, I would say. I did a lot of candidate screening for different clients of different sizes, and if I have two candidates that are let's say similar, in my opinion, their skill set is similar, I would choose the one with certificate if they are similar. Of course, if there are more experienced people without certificates, then certificate is not deciding factor. But still, I would say, and yes, of course, a good point would be there are many companies who are Microsoft's partners, like silver, gold, I don't know, platinum partners. Don't know how this thing works now. Who and those companies, for them, it's mandatory to have certain number of certified people. So if you're applying for the job in those consultancies that are Microsoft partners, they will for sure ask you to have a certificate or to make one as soon as you join them, because they need to provide certain number of certified people on specific skills area. I hope this answers the question. Alejandro says, how much important is to get certified in DP-600? This is very similar to the previous one. Is it something that a recruiter takes seriously? And getting the certification really mean that you can handle fabric environment? Thanks and have a great 2024. Thanks, you too. Hope to join a certification course soon. Stay tuned. It's coming soon. It's coming really soon. So I think I answered in the previous question. I gave the answer also to Alejandro's question. Again, is it something that the recruiter takes seriously? It depends on the recruiter, and it depends on the specific requirements of the company where you are applying. But as I said, from my personal experience, I didn't have any benefit from certificates, but I know a lot of people that had benefit from certifications. Sahar asked, Microsoft Fabric Analytics Engineer certification or DBT Analytics Engineer certification? Which one is better to obtain? Ooh, this one is tough. So I don't have any experience with DBT, to be honest. I know what it is, but I don't have any experience, and I didn't take their exam, DBT Analytics Engineer. I assume, but that's just my assumption, that probably the skills required in both certificates are very similar and overlapping. It's just about applying those skills to a specific product. With this one, DP-600, you are applying these skills with Microsoft Fabric. With DBT, I assume you have to use DBT to apply those skills. So I would say, now I can't say which one is better. It's impossible, but I assume the skills that are being checked are very, very similar. It's just about the product. Hope this answers the questions, Sahar. Okay, so let me pick some questions from the chat. Let's go and see. Jorge asks, best learning pathway to the exam. Still can't give you a proper answer to this. I'll try. So at this moment, Microsoft offers through their Microsoft Learn platform a lot of learning paths that are relevant to Fabric. So you need to go through all of them. Personally, I have to be honest. So I love Microsoft, but I have to be honest. For me, I find it very hard and challenging to prepare using Microsoft Learn platform. And let me explain why. Because those learning modules are very high level and they're somehow disparate. So for me, it's hard to, have everything in one place. And then I know when I walk through all these materials at one place, I know I'm ready for the exam. That's not the case for me personally. That's not the case with Microsoft Learn. So I would say go definitely to Microsoft Learn and complete their learning paths that are relevant to Fabric. I know that still some parts are missing that are relevant for DP-600 specifically. And you maybe need to combine learning paths that are relevant to Fabric with learning paths that are relevant to other products. For example, I know that star schema and slowly changing dimensions, they're being tested in DP-600, and they're not specifically related to Microsoft Fabric. So that's a general concept in data modeling. So you need to go search and find, for example, to learn more about star schema or different types of slowly changing dimensions. So best learning pathway is to either to combine all these resources or try to find a resource that combines everything that you need to know to successfully pass DP-600. I'm working on a course, but it's still work in progress. Pauline asks, how do DP-500 and DP-600 overlap and differ? This is a great question. This is a question that I got like, I'm not exaggerating, but maybe 50 times in last, since DP-600 was announced. Because I created a course on DP-500. So they both overlap between themselves and also they are very different. So I would say overlapping in terms, if we are talking about percentages, is about maybe 40 to 50%. So there are certain topics that are just brought from DP-500 to DP-600. Now, of course, instead of doing them in serverless SQL pool, for example, you can do them in Fabric Warehouse or something like that, or enterprise semantic models in Power BI. That's the same thing as in DP-500. So there is a certain overlapping, but of course there are many differences. The biggest difference is there are no data visualization topics at all. And in DP-500, you have a specific area which is related to advanced data visualization topics in Power BI, like designing for accessibility, personalized visuals, or I don't know, auto-page refresh. I can't remember anymore, but there is a whole subtopic that is relevant to related to data visualization topic in Power BI. Now this is gone from DP-600. Also, there is no purview at all, which is also a significant part of DP-500. There is no purview in DP-600, and also, as I said, Synapse part is a little bit broken down. In DP-500, it was like Azure Synapse Analytics. You had to know all the parts like both SQL pool, Spark pool, and so on. Here is more focusing on experiences. So like from experience of data engineer or data warehouse developer and so on and so on. So how to do certain things using a warehouse, writing SQL, or using a lake house, for example, writing notebooks. So it's like 50-50, I would say, between DP-500 and DP-600. Hopefully that answers the question. Let's go. Sied asks, please correct me if I'm wrong, Synapse Serverless SQL pool is recommended or dedicated according to Microsoft? I haven't heard that. So yeah, this is again broad topic, not relevant to this one. Please explain limitation of Microsoft Databricks compared to Databricks. Not doing that today, sorry. Okay. Roman, in your opinion, what specific feature already implemented or in preview beyond what's in promotional videos gives Microsoft Fabric the upper hand in a data platform cooking show? I like this. So there are many parts of Fabric that are just rebranding or giving them different name, and but there are certain features that are really, let's say, revolutionary. Direct Lake for me, One Lake, and specifically in One Lake, if we're talking shortcuts, mirroring for databases, especially because there are a lot of people out there using different proprietary databases. So mirroring, One Lake, semantic link also, and those two, what did I mention? The Direct Lake, of course. So that's from top of my head. Okay. Pragati, Microsoft Learn Pads for DP-600 can be found here. If you can't post the link, send me, and I will put it in the chat window, because I think I missed the link here. Are there any resources for hands-on Microsoft Fabric projects other than tutorials in documentation? Not yet, to my knowledge. So there is a GitHub repository created by two guys from Microsoft. So one is Greg Beaumont, and I forgot the name of the other one, where you can download all the resources. So they're using open dataset for some healthcare, like 200 million plus rows, and there are all the notebooks and data transformation and creating Power BI report on top of it using Direct Lake. I will share in next few days. I need to find this link to this GitHub account. Did you take the exam? What was the difficulty level? Not yet. So it's live like less than 24 hours. So I plan to do it as soon as possible, probably during the next week. So I will have more information about the difficulty level and the exam itself in a few days. So, but yeah, hopefully soon. Okay, I don't see any more questions in the chat. So let's go back to questions that were sent in advance. Gonzalo asks, what would be a good approach to dimension a capacity needed for any project? Can it be planned in advance? How would you do it? Again, capacity planning, I think we covered in one of the previous questions. How would I do it? I would ask for as many details as possible, of course, and yes, it can be definitely planned in advance. And in case you made a wrong guess, which happens, of course, to all of us, it's easy to scale your capacity up or down in Microsoft Fabric. So it's not set in stone like when you buy on premises hardware. Then when you buy it, it's hard to go up and down. Here it's much easier because it's a cloud solution. Juan Pierre, hi Juan Pierre. What are the similarities and fundamental differences between the DP-500 and DP-600? Would it still be beneficial to complete DP-500 and DP-600? I think we answered this question. It was a question from Pauline. So similarities and fundamental differences I already covered. Would it still be beneficial to complete DP-500 and DP-600? It depends on your role and your goals when it comes to certifications. If you are using, or your company using Azure Synapse Analytics extensively, then DP-500 is still more than relevant. It doesn't go anywhere yet. So we will see, but it doesn't go anywhere anytime soon. That's according to all the information I have. So it depends on the skills you possess and that you want to test, I would say, and that you want in the end to apply in your day-to-day job. Again, Juan Pierre, now that the DP-600 is an engineering exam, do you envision some sort of administrator exam as well in the future? That's a good one. That's a good question. Honestly, so I'll share my opinion, of course, and everything I say here, it's just my opinion, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm correct. Probably it's the opposite, but yeah. So everything that I say is just my personal opinion. I think administration area doesn't have enough, let's say, meat for the entire exam. And Microsoft recently started with I think it's called applied skills testing on something like this, that which takes smaller parts of the certain platform, like Power Platform. Then you have like applied skills challenge. I think it's called applied skills challenge, to build, I don't know, model driven app, or I don't know, create something in Dataverse. Something like this, I think, will be available for Fabric in future. So we will have like smaller parts, more focused parts of the entire platform, like Fabric Administrator, and then you will have this as applied skills test, not as a whole exam, as far as I know and as far as I expect. So then you should have exam for lakehouse developer, warehouse developer, data scientist, and so on. So I think there is not enough material, and that will be then too granular for Microsoft to create all these certificates for those more focused specialists. Juan Pierre again, what will the relevance of Azure Synapse and Azure Data Factory be with the introduction of Fabric? This one is also a very good question. So Microsoft's official statement is that Azure Synapse doesn't go anywhere. Also Azure Data Factory, of course. There are many companies that already implemented both of these solutions. So from what I'm reading between the lines now is that most of the new features will be first pushed to Fabric. And those experiences, when I say experiences, I mean Synapse experience and Data Factory experience within the Fabric, will get these new features probably first, and then those features will be maybe or maybe not implemented also in Synapse and Data Factory. So what is the relevance? They're still, of course, very relevant, and especially because they're now also part of Fabric. But as I said, if you used them before Fabric, you may expect some latency with new features compared to Fabric. Because, yeah, I think Microsoft's idea is to obviously push everyone to use Fabric, to move to Fabric. Akshata, hi Akshata, good to see you here. What other study material other than Microsoft's Learn suggested models can I leverage to prepare better for DP-600? I think also I covered a little bit this topic. So at this moment, it's Microsoft Learn. I'm not aware of any other study material at this moment. So it's work in progress, probably on different sites. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm sure in next 2 or 3 months, at maximum, that there will be different types of study materials. Maybe a book, maybe a course or live training. So depending on which learning type you prefer, I'm sure you will find something other than Microsoft Learn suggested models. Philip asks, Fabric Capacity provides many tools, but also requires at least Pro version for Power BI access to manage Power BI assets. What advantages do Fabric bring compared to premium per capacity license in Power BI? For example, with Fabric Capacity, we can have AI, Synapse features, Spark, etc. Could we expect a transition of big organizations from Power BI Premium to Fabric Capacity and Pro licenses for users instead of Premium? Honestly, I don't quite understand this first part. So Fabric Capacity provides many tools, but also requires at least Pro version for Power BI to access to manage Power BI assets. Not necessarily. So if you pay F64, which is equivalent to P1 premium per capacity from Power BI World, F64, you don't need pro licenses for consuming Power BI reports. For creating Power BI reports, you need pro license. That's how it is at the moment. That's how it will be in the future. So now also, if you have like P6, the biggest beast in Power BI Premium per capacity, still report creators need Power BI Pro license. And that's the same thing in Fabric below F64. Sorry. So that's the same thing for Fabric. Creators of Power BI reports still need Pro license for all Fabric capacities. From F64 and upper, consumers of Power BI reports don't need Pro license, so they can consume reports with free license. So more or less, that's very similar. What advantages do Fabric bring compared to Premium per capacity license in Power BI? So if you enable Fabric workloads in your current Premium per capacity license in Power BI, you can use all the Fabric features same as that you purchased F capacity. So it's the same, no difference. If you don't enable those Fabric features, then you will stay only with Power BI items available. So you can't use data warehouses, lakehouses, notebooks, and so on and so on. So the main advantage is that you have Fabric features, Fabric experiences available once you enable this in Premium per capacity license in Power BI. Could we expect a transition of big organizations from Power BI Premium to Fabric capacity and Pro licenses for users instead of Premium? Well, that I can't answer this. Transition of big organizations from Power BI Premium to Fabric capacity, they don't necessarily need to transition from Power BI Premium to Fabric. So if they have Premium per capacity, they can just enable Fabric features, and it's the same as they purchased or transition to Fabric capacity. But yes, after some time, I expect that probably these P SKUs that are currently available for Power BI will be deprecated, and that everyone will be on F capacities, but not anytime soon, I assume. Anand Kumar asked, I did a DP-600 certification a year back. Thanks to all of your blogs. You're welcome. I'm happy that if that helps. May I know what is the key difference between DP-600 and DP-600? We answered this. I know it's Fabric-based, but want to know on a technical standpoint. Also want to know what is the roadmap for DP-500 and DP-600. I mean, what kind of role a candidate can pursue in spite of taking these certifications? Is it a data analytics engineer or anything else? Please let me know your thoughts. I think we covered most of these sub-questions that Anand Kumar asked, although those are really amazing questions. So what kind of role? It's called analytics engineer. You can translate this analytics engineer however you want. Again, go and watch Simon's video. I think it perfectly explains the role of analytics engineer or anything else. So yeah, as I said, you can move more to data engineer role, more to data analyst role. You can be this man in the middle between those two. So depends on your skills, depending on your preference, and depending on the company where you will work on. So if you work for a smaller company, you will probably wear multiple hats. Let's put it that way. In bigger companies, there is probably a more granular segregation between those roles. Venu asks, do we have hands-on programming questions or code snippet-based multiple choice questions in PySpark? I don't know. I still didn't take this exam. If we take into account DP-500, there were hands-on programming questions and code snippet-based questions for Python. So that was the case in DP-500. I really don't know for DP-600. Sorry. Irfan asked, I know a little Power BI. Is Fabric related to Power BI and how it works? Yes, Fabric is very, very related to Power BI. If you work with Power BI, then you will probably find yourself in very familiar environment when you go to Fabric portal. So it's very similar experience and user interface to what we had in Power BI. But it's Fabric is Power BI plus many more things, and it's a different concept, I would say. And if you know a little Power BI, that's a great starting point. So that's good for you. But definitely you need to learn other aspects of the Fabric platform. Syed asked, is DP-600 going to replace DP-203? Oh, okay. This is interesting because so far we had in scope comparisons between DP-500 and DP-600. DP-203, for those of you who maybe don't know, is Azure Data Engineer certificate. And from all the certificates I took previously, this one probably the hardest one. It was in the past, it was 2 exams, and then they merged it into one. So you can imagine the breadth and depth of topics that are covered in DP-203. Same as for DP-500. I don't think that DP-600 is going to replace DP-203. DP-203 is more focused on, there will be certain overlappings, like with DP-500, but less than with DP-500. So there will be certain overlappings, but this one is more focused on bringing data, transforming data from data source to analytical storage. So I don't think DP-203 will be replaced anytime soon, at least not with DP-600. Michaela asked, what does this certification include? I'm not sure what is meant by this question, but if the question is what does this certification include in terms of what is covered by this certification, there is a link that I posted in chat window, which lists all the skills and all the topics that are covered with this certification. Kirtana, can you talk about how to study these topics in the study guide? I don't know where to look in documentation to study for them. Choose a data gateway type, create a custom Power BI report theme, configure Fabric enable workspace settings. Yeah, so as I said, if you want to prepare yourself from the documentation, then you need to spread your wings and grab things from different places. So it's not that you have everything at one single place. Choosing a data gateway type that's related to Power BI. So you need to go to Power BI documentation specifically, and then read about Power BI gateways to understand what are pros, cons of each gateway type, and then to be able to decide when you get the question on the exam about choosing a data gateway type, which one is a proper one. So you need to go, for example, to Power BI documentation. And I know that there is a very detailed page about data gateways. Custom Power BI report theme, I think this is not covered by DP-600. Please double check, but I think this was in DP-500, but I think it's not in DP-600. Configure Fabric enable workspace settings. Again, this is not something that you will find in documentation, like listed, this setting will do that, this setting will do that, this setting will do that. The best way is to open Fabric tenant and then go to a workspace, open settings, and see what's there. And then when you find something, most of these settings are self-explanatory, so you will quickly understand what each setting covers. But if you're not sure, then you can go and look in documentation for specific setting. This is, again, I will bet that this is going to be found in Power BI documentation, because previously it was Power BI workspace settings. Now it's Fabric. It's almost the same. So go to Power BI documentation and try to find it there. Okay, before we go to Raffle, let me once more walk through the questions in the chat. So Sahar asked, what level of subscription or access in Fabric is required to learn all the topics for the exam? You can do it for free. You have free trial, 60 days. So if you go and register now for Fabric, you will get 60 days free access to all Fabric features. After that, you can do whatever you want with F2, which is the lowest entry point for Fabric workloads. I'm not sure about pay-as-you-go price from top of my head. I know that if you pay for the whole month, it's around $160 for the whole month, 24/7. So if you do just occasionally for practice and so on, you can choose pay-as-you-go, and you will probably pay a few dollars per month for this practice. Okay, Brown Girl says, as a Power BI developer, will this certificate be the next step for me? Will it help me? Will it help you? Probably yes, because you will definitely broaden your knowledge outside of Power BI world. So if you're interested to do that, then it will definitely help you. If you are let's say, classic Power BI developer, you are just involved in creating reports, dashboards, and so on, then maybe this is not of your interest, maybe. But if you want, as I said, if you want to understand the whole workflow, the whole process, how data is going from data source to one lake, how it's modeled, what are different storage modes, and so on, then absolutely yes. And I would say I would recommend anyone who is already proficient with Power BI to take this exam and this certificate as a level up, or let's say next step, as you already put it in your question. This is great phrase. So as the next step in your data career development. Okay, and again, Brown Girl, for my region, SQL endpoint is currently not available. So won't Fabric never come to my location central? I think this is Arab Emirates, probably. I don't know, really. I'm not sure. So this is the question for Microsoft, definitely. I don't know. I can't answer it. Sorry. And I think we reached the end of questions in chat. So yeah, as I said, it's a raffle time. This is how we are going to do. So I have an Excel list with all the people who enrolled in Data Mozart Learning Platform since beginning. So as you see, we have 2,209 people enrolled. I deleted, I think I removed all the dummy names and duplicates, hopefully. So I assigned row numbers to each of these names. I also have email addresses of these people, but they're hidden, of course. And now what we are going to do, I will do a random. So I will use random number generator between 1 and 2,209. And we will select 10 people randomly who will get a full access to DP-600 course. Siva asked how to enroll. Let me then put this. So learn.data-mozart.com, it's free. So you don't need a credit card, you don't need anything. You can enroll for free. If you want to buy courses, of course, there are some paid courses over there, but enrollment is free. Okay, so let's start. I'll click on generate 1109. So let's find 1109. Okay, Tariq Atesin. Okay, I'll put number 1 so I can easier find Tariq later. Let's go to the next one. 785. Okay, 785. This is Joanna Hrinievich. Okay. Let's find third one. 190. This reminds me of a bingo. 190. There are many of them. So Christo Murray is selected. Okay. Then let's go to the next one. I think we have 3 so far. Okay, so generate 1966. 1966. Adebayo Okesola. He's number 4. Okay, and then let's go to number 5, 250. 250. Chandra Shekhar Guru. Okay, that was number 5. Let's go to number 6. 749. 749. Piotr, some special characters. I will find him later. Okay. Through email address. This was number 6. Let's go to number 7. 1770. Carlos Moralejo Lozano. Okay, that was number 7. Number 8 is 613. 613. Isidoro Ruiz. That was number 8. 2 more. 565. 565. Okay, 565. Daniele Strottieri. Okay, and the last one is 1442. 1442. Gia Lian. Oops. Gia Lian. Okay, I think I have 10 people randomly chosen. And I also promised someone who asked the best question. And I think because of the number of questions and quality of questions, Juan Pierre is the one who gets the free access thanks to asking the best question. So I'm not sure if he's in the stream or not, but yeah, I'll reach out to him because I have his email address. And for all of you who won this free access to the course, you will be informed as soon as the course is ready. You get 100% free access to this course. And yeah, that's it. So, okay, any more questions before we slowly wrap up this live stream? We managed to cover all the questions, so that's good, I think. And yeah, maybe if there are more questions in the next few days or weeks, and I'm sure there will be when people start taking this exam, I promise I will organize again another edition of this live Q&A. And of course, in the meantime, if you have anything, yeah, just reach out to me on social media. I'm on LinkedIn and then Twitter. So yeah, always happy to talk about data and Microsoft Fabric. Good. Thank you, everyone, for nice words. Thanks for joining. Wish you great remaining part of the day, or good evening, or good night, and enjoy the weekend. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. If someone takes DP-600 in the next few days, please let me know your thoughts. I would like to include this in maybe next live stream. With that being said, again, thank you, and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye. See you again.